Filmmakers love hiding Easter eggs in their films, especially when it involves tipping their caps to their favorite movies and movie characters. Hell, R2-D2 alone has been popping up in all sorts of movies ever since his first cinematic appearance in 1977's Star Wars, including Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And J.J. Abrams loves the little droid so much that he put him in every single one of his movies, until Lucasfilm just said, screw it, let J.J. direct the next Star Wars. But there's nothing inherently odd about a little robot popping up in science fiction and adventure films. You know what is odd? References to one of the scariest movies ever made.
Here's Johnny!
And arguably the most popular animated film franchise in history.
You are a toy!
Here's the Stephen Kingdom's top 5 The Shining Easter eggs in the Toy Story films. The Shining is all over the Toy Story movies for one simple reason. That reason? Academy Award-winning director and animator Lee Unkrich is a huge fan of The Shining. In fact, fan might be too mild a word. The Hollywood Reporter has dubbed him, quote, the world's foremost Shining aficionado. And for years, he's been quietly archiving and cataloging all manner of The Shining ephemera at the overlookhotel.com blog. At some point, he amassed so much material that he was able to compile it into a book. And this isn't just some book you can drop $20 on at Amazon. No, this gargantuan 2-volume, 1,000-copy, limited edition behemoth will set you back a breezy $2,500. Or it would if it hadn't already sold out. Jeez, who's buying these books?
We're not preschool toys, Slinky. We can read.
So, back in the early 90s, when Unkrich started as a film editor on the original Toy Story, which was also Pixar's first movie, he wasted no time squeezing in as many references to The Shining as he could, a trend that he continued into his co-directing effort Toy Story 2, and then in his first solo directorial effort in Toy Story 3. Needless to say, because Unkrich is such an institution at Pixar from the very beginning, The Shining pops up in a lot more movies than just the Toy Story films, but this is a top 5, not a top 100, so let's just stick with the adventures of Woody and Buzz for now. Number 5, Sunnyside Daycare's Control Room, Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is, at its core, a prison escape movie, wherein our favorite lovable characters are all trapped in the way too cheerily named Sunnyside Daycare, where Lotso, the huggable bear, rules his domain with an iron fist.
Whoa there, Missy. You're not going anywhere.
And every maximum security penitentiary needs its eye in the sky, the control room from which all activity is closely watched. And what better security guard than a creepy, cymbal-clanging monkey that most definitely has to be a reference to the cursed monkey toy in Stephen King's short story, The Monkey. In the Sunnyside control room, there are 2 notable items that are lifted straight out of The Shining. First, there's the intercom that looks a lot like the one Wendy Torrance uses to radio for help. But if that isn't obvious enough for you, the tissue box covered in the overlook carpet pattern most assuredly is. Number 4, Apollo 11, Toy Story, Toy Story 4. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is the subject of countless conspiracy theories, and one of the most fascinating and absurd theories is everything related to Apollo 11 and the moon landing. The long and short of it is that Kubrick was enlisted by NASA to fake the moon landing.
So here's the plan. Meet with Kubrick. Convince him. You know, film a pretend moon landing?
And he has consequently hidden a bunch of spacey clues in The Shining to, blow the whistle on the truth, I guess? If Kubrick is confessing, he's not being very subtle about it, what with Danny walking around in an Apollo 11 sweater and all. Regardless, space iconography is certainly at home in the Toy Story films, where one of the main characters, Buzz Lightyear, is himself named after Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin. So it's arguable that some of these Easter eggs may lean more to the side of just being space references rather than full-blown shining Easter eggs, but hey man, I'm just asking questions here. Do your own research.
Oh, I hate all this uncertainty.
First up, in the first Toy Story, Andy's Buzz Lightyear bed is blue and speckled with stars, not unlike Danny's aforementioned sweater. And in Toy Story 4, some of the Toy Rocket Carnival prizes surrounding Buzz sure look a heck of a lot like the rocket on Danny's sweater. Some subtle Easter eggs to be sure, but given Unkrich's shining obsession and the space-themed conspiracy theories surrounding Kubrick's film, you can bet your astronaut it's intentional.
I think you've had enough tea for today. Let's get you out of here.
Number 3, the number 237. Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4. Numbers are the easiest Easter eggs of all to hide. Oftentimes, if you're not looking for numerical references, they can easily slip by undetected. But once you notice them, boy oh boy, are they obvious. Stephen King's favorite numerical Easter egg is the number 19, which is littered throughout his work. But fans of The Shining love references to the haunted hotel room, room 217 in the book and 237 in the movie. Unkrich, being a fan of the movie, peppers 237 throughout the last 2 Toy Story films. In Toy Story 4, 237 is the blink-and-you'll-miss-it address of the old lady that Ducky and Bunny attack. But in Toy Story 3, for which director Lee Unkrich won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, 237 is all over the place. Trixie the Triceratops messages someone with the username Velocistar237. The garbage truck Sid drives is RM237. And if these aren't obvious enough, one of the security cameras at Sunnyside Daycare has the model number Overlook H237. Number 2, Midnight, the Stars, and You, Toy Story 4. If all these Easter eggs up till now are a little too subtle for your taste, this one ought to put you at ease. During The Shining's cryptic ending, wherein the camera zooms in on the black and white photograph of Jack Torrance with the title Overlook Hotel, July 4th Ball, 1921, the song Midnight, the Stars, and You by Ray Noble and his orchestra takes us home to the end credits. In Toy Story 4, you can hear this familiar song playing on the record player in the antique shop. Apparently, director Josh Cooley and executive producer Lee Unkrich used the song as temp during early edits of the film and ended up keeping it because, hey, it's creepy and bonus Shining Easter egg. And number 1, Sid's Carpet, Toy Story. The most obvious of the bunch. Sid is the sadistic kid who tortures toys, so what carpet more fitting to line his upstairs hallway than the carpet from the creepiest hotel in cinematic history? You don't need to look too closely to notice that Sid's home is adorned with the iconic Overlook carpet pattern from The Shining. And there you have it, the Stephen Kingdom's top 5 The Shining Easter eggs in the Toy Story films. Fun Easter eggs hidden by an uber fan of The Shining, or maybe Stanley Kubrick himself is actually behind all the Toy Stories and he's dropping all these breadcrumbs to show us the truth. Again, I'm just asking questions. To infinity and beyond!
To infinity and beyond!
If you'd like to throw in a few bucks to keep the Stephen Kingdom up and running, be sure to support our Patreon, where our patrons get access to all sorts of exclusive content, including deleted scenes, early access to episodes, and your name in the credits. Be sure to subscribe to the Stephen Kingdom channel here and check out our past episodes. Here, long days and pleasant nights, Constant Watchers.